We qualified great for this race and we're expecting great results. We started off losing a few positions, and at the end of the race we didn't finish that well because our driver made a lot of mistakes in the race because we made our driver push harder. We still have not upgraded our car yet, and we're doing testing to wear down the parts quickly so we can replace them effectively and gain performance points from testing. You can see quite a few people pitted for dry tires and start with wet. I think it's the wrong choice. If we look at this moment in the race, at about midway, and we look at the top 8 rivals, the best lap time is 53.7 to 54.5 or so, and our best lap was 55. And the outlier here with very fast car is 52 seconds. So we're not all that much slower than our rivals in terms of best lap time, but we lost relative quite a bit of time to them. If our driver made less mistakes, we would have finished 22nd to 20th, and that would look very good. Our driver made 21 seconds worth of mistakes from pushing harder, and that will put us right to where we finished last race, and that is something what I was expecting, about potentially top 13 or so, because we did top 18 last race. You can see that our driver made the mistakes, and it was all clear track risk, not during overtaking. And at the start of the race, because it rained a bit and our driver had more fuel, the soft tires became very worn down, but he still made it. Because we finished 26th, not 18th, our earnings is about 1 million less, but that's a lot of money lost. But upgrading car parts to stay competitive and not pushing our driver harder to say where his optimum range is will make us lose even more money and down the path. If we look at some of the achievements we've got for promoting at the end of last season, we can see that we got the win 9 races in any group during a season. We won exactly 9 races, and we're lucky to get this achievement, and we got the score points for every race. And I think it was quite easy, because as long as you have the correct driver, then you can score points in every race. And we got the trophy for being number 1, which is what we wanted to get last season, because we already have a huge points gap in the season. And the knockout is for the standings cup. We go head to head depending on the season, which is this one. We obviously won it because we were fastest every race, or doing the best always, and we're the most consistent. If we look at our sponsors, we are a bit low in the negotiation progress, so we're going to have to upgrade the sponsor facilities so we're able to get the sponsor before others. You can see our staff salary and facilities maintenance is quite low, because over time our staff loses skills. I think we want to put our facilities at about 26 to 28 or so to be a bit faster in negotiations. I think it's going to pay off, and we'll have more than enough money for this season. Potentially we want to upgrade to the max level, but we're going to have to pay a small premium, maybe another 100k or so every race. I think level 30 is a good balance between the higher facility maintenance and being able to beat others to the negotiation. Probably want to upgrade the facilities a little bit more here, so we're gonna get a bit more points for the testing. Surprisingly, the maintenance only went up by very little, and if we upgraded to max level, it will probably make even more sense because we are going to be able to get our sponsors quicker, and that will offset the small increase in costs. I copied the race results into our calculator tool, and only the engine has a bit more wear than what our calculator expected, but on average wear was similar to what our calculator shows. So definitely with the 42 CTR would correspond with this clear and dry risk. And our driver didn't lose much time, even though he drained all of his stamina during the race, at the end of the race. And our car was still going faster at the end of the race, so we are going to reduce the car weight compensation again. We can't reduce it too much because the tire optimum temperature is 31 or so, and it was very hot at the start and the mid of the race, and it became colder at the end. If we look at the tire wear, it was exactly the same as what our calculator tool shows, so we can keep using the same offset values and we'll have the correct tire wear. And for the upcoming race, obviously we copied the data into our calculator tool and had a look at the past results. Optimum is 3 pit stop, which is same as what the calculator tool suggests, which is 1.57, and we can see 1.55 corresponds to 3 pit stops. The weather shows that there's some chance of rain, so if this track is optimum for 3 pit stops. If we do 4 pit stops, potentially for a short pit stint, we won't lose much time. Or we can calculate based upon probability the amount of time we lose in rain on dry tires, and we don't need to pit at all, and that might be faster. You can also see that I recently added this Q1 Q2 temp, so I can copy it into my car setup calculator tool. I don't need to manually insert it every time. If we look at the car wear, we need to upgrade the engine, brakes and suspension, and downgrade the underbody. We don't want to upgrade the underbody so we can save money. The wear is not 100 yet and it has minimal impact on performance. And we want to upgrade engine, brakes and suspension because that has a huge impact on the performance. We gain quite a bit of car points, and it's going to make us a bit more competitive. If we look at our car level, we're not at the bottom of the pack, top 33 or so anymore. and we're a bit closer to getting 5 bars for the car level, and that will make us a bit more competitive. You can see a lot of managers have a lot of money, but not all of them have done testing. So I don't think that's necessarily good management. More than half of the grid hasn't done testing, but nearly more than half of the grid have 50 million or more. We're gonna train our driver again to reduce the weight, because that's hugely efficient. Obviously, we're going to copy the car weight into our calculator tool. If we use the super soft, we can make it to the end easily with tire left doing a 4-stop. If we do a few 14 lap stops, we can make it to the end with 2 extra laps and have a comfortable tire wear left. We're going to lose time if we push the tire wear harder, so you may not want to do 15 laps for the start. Below 15 we start losing time. You can see the overtaking is easy, so you definitely want to not put too much fuel for the first stint. You also entered the fuel. We're gonna find the setup for the race. We calculated the setup and we're going to find the wing split. The optimal wing split is between lap 7 and 8. And we entered the values, and we're gonna do qualifying. The time is very good because it's within 0.2 seconds, and our driver always qualified this well throughout the time we worked with it. We entered the fuel for 14 laps, and we don't need to change the setup because the temperature didn't change. Potentially we are using a bit less fuel than others, that's why our Q2 was quite good. But I think everyone is doing a similar strategy, if not a free pit stop. The qualifying time seems about the same as what we saw last race, but we are very consistent, within 5 seconds of the fastest in Q1 and Q2. And we can see that our qualifying time is faster than some of the people with 10 points, so that's phenomenal. But what actually matters is how well our driver performs in the race. I think because our driver has some experience, around 70 points, that's why we qualify a bit better, and in the race we're not that fast. Potentially everyone else has a driver with no experience. Surprisingly, if we look at the average race temperature and we look at these two, T1, T2, the average is 26, exactly the same as Q1 and Q2. So we don't need to change the setup other than adding the weight compensation. We entered the setup for the race. We entered the field required to do the strategy, and we're going to do a boost lap at the third pit. We entered the boost lap for 50. If we go back to our calculator tool for the risk chart to get the 28 CTR, our driver risk needs to be 28. If we increase it a bit more, we risk going to the next CTR level, and all of our car parts weight will increase by 1 point, and we don't have the stamina to sustain 35 risk anyways, so doing exactly 28 is going to save us up to 1 point in car wear.